Bell rolls is the reporter thrown into the secretive world of the Forex Super Model, where nothing is as it seems. Beware the techno monk, and steer clear of Professor Code and his two assistants. Give the senior trader a wide berth, and don't expect any sense from the risk manager.
Good morning, I'm Professor Code and this is the Forex Super Model daily briefing for Monday the 23rd of the 8th, 2021. Time is just coming up to 04:30, 4:30 in the morning, GMT. Asian session coming to a close, European session firing up, our lunchtime, North American session. Right, Friday the 20th of the 8th, then the last full trading day. We had a positive opposed driver in the euro, plus 87. Front and back door flows, mainly coming out the pound at minus 69. Out the yen at minus 26, and the dollar was the positive rocket, plus 8. Activity plus or minus 95. Last week then, just for context then, we had a negative opposed driver in the pound at minus 551. Front and back door flows, mainly going into the dollar at plus 344. Into the yen at plus 325, and the euro was a negative rock at minus 118. Activity plus or minus 669. So last week then we had the pound driving weekly, the weakness in the pound driving the market. The bulk of the opposing positive flows were going into the dollar and the yen, and the euro was soft with backdoor flows. Right, intra-week then, this is the Asian flows to about 15 minutes ago. We've got a negative opposed driver in the yen at minus 86. Front and back door flows mainly going into the pound at plus 59, into the euro at plus 55, and the dollar is the negative rock at minus 28. Activity plus or minus 114. Right, we're going to stop it there and write up the flows. So don't go away. Right, we're back. We've written up the flows then. So the euro is strong except against the pound. The yen is weak across the board. The pound is strong except against the CAD, the AUD and the NZD, the commodity currencies. The Swiss is weak except against the yen and the dollar. The CAD is strong across the board. The AUD is strong except against the CAD. NZD is strong except against the AUD and the CAD, and the dollar is weak except against the yen. So what have we got then? We've got yen weakness, and we've got CAD strength, and we've got this commodity strength as well. So we're looking at a sort of a risk on flows in the Asian session. Right, so we're going to stop that there and then write up the asset class. Right, we've written up the asset classes then. US dollar index then. So US dollar index has been basically pumping up. It's now come off a little bit. It's 0.125 from the high, so it's an 8 off the modelled high. Gold should like that in theory, and has come up a little bit, but it's pretty weak. It's 0.45 from the floor, 45% from the floor. Oil has been very soft after a big rise, and it's just bumping off the floor now at the moment. So Wall Street's been breaking new highs, came off, and it's now 0.20 from the high, so 20% off the high roughly. S&P similar, except hasn't come off as much, 0.10, 10% off the high, and tech is pretty much bumping around at the top. So that's where we are there. US 10-year, this is the price of the bonds. Price of the bonds has been charging up really. Yields have been soft. Then the yields came back a bit, and now the yields are coming off again. So it's 0.33 from the high, and the bund likewise just not as extreme. It's 0.10 from the high. So relatively speaking, European yields are softer than US yields. And that will reflect in the euro dollar, etc. Copper had this big sort of volatile chop for a long while. It broke out significantly, then it chopped right down, and it's now 0.33, about a third off the floor. So soft, but thinking about coming back. US steel had that a big fall off, and it was dirging around for a while, and it's pumped up off the back of the infrastructure bill in theory, and it's come off a bit now. It's 0.33 from the floor, so it's still soft, but it's about a third from the floor. Right, so let's try and make some sense of what's going to happen to the flows today, and then look at look at the individual complexes and try and make some reasoned decisions. If you look at the economic calendar, then what's been knocking it about, or what's going to knock it about? We've had the Australian service and manufacturing PMI. Manufacturing PMI is very negative on that sense. Today we've got German manufacturing and service PMI, Euro PMIs, and the GBP PMI. So it's all about services and manufacturing inflation really today. And we've also, much later on, we've got New Zealand retail sales. And Tuesday the 24th, which is tomorrow, we've got German GDP, which is tier 2, US new home sales tier 2, and New Zealand trade balance also tier 2. And at the moment we're just sort of polishing off Jackson Hole summit, and where they're dialing back, in theory, the US taper. Right, so let's have a look then. So in terms of the dollar, the euro, the yen, and the pound, if you look at the Asian session, we've got a pretty much risk on scenario. So we've got risk on in the Asian session with equities on the up, and presumably the yen transmission will be soft. And if you look at last week, the yen is on the positive side of the equation. So this is positive, and the dollar is also on the positive, and the euro and the pound are on the negative side. So it's likely we're going to get a reversal in these flows. It's likely you're going to get this sort of scenario. So these are going to switch places. So you're going to get strength in the pound, strength in the euro, softness in the yen, and softness in the dollar. So that's something to bear in mind. And it looks like commodity currencies are on the up as well. So CAD, AUD, NZD are on the up. So strong. So and the Swiss should come off. So that's going to be like fairly standard and risk on, and this has got a long way to go. Remember, this has been really pummeled down. The pound and the euro have been very soft for a while, and likewise this has been strong. So you're gonna get sort of this sort of hockey stick effect today probably. So that's something to bear in mind. Look out for pound and euro strength, yen and dollar weakness, and strength in the commodity currencies and weakness in the Swiss franc. So I hope that was useful. Thanks for watching. See you again tomorrow for the daily briefing.